Welcome to the Our Kids Network Data Portal, How to Make Comparisons Between Geographies tutorial. This tutorial will show you how to add secondary indicators so you can make comparisons between various geographies. We'll cover side-by-side and paired maps, comparison maps, and threshold maps. If you're not familiar with the OKN Data Portal, you may want to take a few minutes to watch the overview tutorial now. Sometimes you want to see whether relationships exist between indicators. For example, is there any relationship between level of physical activity and healthy body weight? The OKN Data Portal can help you make these comparisons. First, we have to select a primary indicator. Let's use the example I mentioned of comparing level of physical activity and healthy body weight. We'll use physical activity as our primary indicator. To access this, click Health, and then open the Physical Activity drop-down menu. Let's choose percent of kindergarten children physically active. We'll keep it at 2018 for simplicity, but you can change the year here under Select an Option. Next, we'll add our secondary indicator. At the bottom of the dashboard, click Add Indicator, and the dashboard will split into primary indicator and secondary indicator sections. Follow the same process as you did to select the primary indicator. Since we're curious about body weight, we'll choose Health, then Healthy Body Weight, and then percent of kindergarten children overweight or obese. The maps display side by side. A legend will display the distribution breakdown for each map. The top legend corresponds to the map on the left. The bottom legend corresponds to the map on the right. Be sure to pay attention to the distribution selections under Style, Distribution. Quantile is the default option, and you can also select equal interval or natural breaks. To ensure the most accurate representation, make sure both maps have the same distribution. Some relationships between geographies are difficult to see when the maps are side by side. A comparison map makes relationships between indicators easier to visualize. So let's take our two maps and move to the comparison view by clicking Comparison Map toggle. Let's zoom in. Okay, so dark blue here represents areas with a high level of physically active kindergarten children and a high level of kindergarten children considered to be overweight or obese. Red represents areas with a high level of physical activity and a low level of kindergarten children considered to be overweight or obese. Light blue represents areas with a low level of physically active kindergartners and a high level of kindergarten children considered to be overweight or obese. And finally, this yellow represents areas with a low level of physically active kindergarten children and a low level of kindergarten children considered to be overweight or obese. The primary indicator is always listed first, and this is the legend. The final map that we'll look at is a threshold map. Although the threshold view can be used with side-by-side maps, we're going to learn about it using a single map view, which is probably how you'll use it most often. First, close the secondary indicator map by clicking onto the Content tab and clicking the minus icon here next to the secondary indicator. This leaves us with a map that shows our primary indicator, percent of kindergarten children who are physically active. In this view, all of our data are shown. However, we want to isolate some of the data, and to do that, we'll use a threshold map. So let's click the Style tab again. This time we'll click Threshold. You can see that the range of physically active kindergarten children across all neighborhoods is between 29 and 53%. We'd like to know which neighborhoods have a rate of at least 47% physically active kindergarten children. So to do that, we'll move the leftmost slider to 47. 2 neighborhoods, Glen Abbey and Southeast Burlington, meet this criterion. So let's see which neighborhoods have at least 40% physically active kindergarten children by moving the slider back to 40 to the left. Many more neighborhoods meet this criterion now. This concludes our How to Make Comparisons Between Geographies tutorial. Watch our overview tutorial if you haven't done so already, or our Map My Data tutorial to learn how to create maps using your own data. If you have further questions or need more information, please see the Data Portal 2.0 Resources section of the OKN website for contact and other valuable resources.